The making of Muhammed Jah. Before the accolades, there was sacrifice. Pressure didn't break him, it introduced him.
I believe that every action I have to do has to impact society. So for me, since I started this journey, if you realize the different companies have started, you will realize that each and every one of them impacts society. For me, that is key. Something which is going to revolutionize the way, things are done in our society.
For Muhammed Jah, the metric of success isn't found in a ledger. It's found in the heartbeat of the society he serves. That belief in impact became the foundation of an extraordinary entrepreneurial journey, one defined by creation, cultivation, and consummation.
When we started some 30 years ago, the biggest employer was government. And I made it a commitment upon myself to say I want to reverse that. It was very ambitious, and some of my friends I told that one day the private sector will be the bigger employer than government. They were laughing at me. That time I can remember, if you were an engineer just graduating, your first choice to be employed will be at Gamtel. And I was one of the few engineers who graduated and decided that I'm going to set up a company from my bedroom.
It was an improbable ambition that would become a national transformation.
So today, if I look back, I think I have attained that goal. Today, the private sector has they are the biggest employer in the country. And QGroup is one of the biggest private sector employers in the country.
Every journey has a beginning, those formative moments that quietly shape the roots of character. And for this story, it begins in a grandmother's compound, in the dawn rituals of a Taliban, and the scent of mangoes in the dark.
I still remember my days in Fas Umar Saho. I was with my grandmom. My father came from studies, and I stayed with my grandmom in Fas Umar Saho, and I studied Quran there. And I grew up with a lot of friends also. They are going to the farms. We grow a lot of groundnuts and coos. And I used to go to the farm just like everybody else. I was a Talube, and I had great memories. One of them is the fact that before Fajr prayers, before people wake up for Fajr prayers, we, the young Talibis, we used to go around looking for mangoes which have dropped off, because in Fas, we were not allowed as young students or young Talibis to get mangoes from, you go up the trees and get the mangoes. So you have to wait until they fall down. So we used to go with no torchlight, nothing, bare hands, just, looking for fallen mangoes. And I'm telling you, that's like maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
It is the kind of detail a man keeps if it shaped him. So long before boardrooms, there was discipline, simplicity, and faith. These were the values he carried into Muslim high school, along with a prayer as precise as an engineer's blueprint.
Well, as a young man, I always had the ambition to be an engineer. When I went into high school in 1981, Muslim high school, Gambia Muslim high school, I remembered the first day I went into class, I was praying to God, the Almighty, and it was funny, I was saying, God, I'm just praying that I just close my eyes and open it and I'm an engineer. And when I finished my engineering degree, it looked like I just closed my eyes and opened. So life moves very, very fast. But from Form 1, I really decided that I was going to be an engineer. So it's very important, I tell young people, to decide what you want to be in the future so that you can work diligently towards that.
But the road to the engineering degree ran through Riyadh first, and through a father's conviction that knowledge needed values, ambition needed grounding.
My father was an Islamic scholar, so he decided that I cannot go to do engineering without doing Islamic studies. I remembered I had a scholarship to go to Essex University in London, and he told me, no, you cannot go. You have to go and do your diploma in Arabic and Islamic studies. So I went to Saudi Arabia and I did a diploma in Arabic and Islamic studies. And there I met, in that diploma class, a lot of the imams now, even in Gambia, they went into the same way. I went to Jamia Malik Saud, which is the University of King Saud in Riyadh.
Saudi Arabia gave him roots. Sierra Leone would give him wings.
So after finishing, my diploma in Saudi Arabia, I decided to apply at Formative College, University of Sierra Leone. And I went to do electrical and electronic engineer, where I graduated, after 5 years, to be the engineer I wanted all my life.
5 years on the hill above Freetown, a decision he would repay in a way none of his professors could have predicted. Returning to a Gambia where the computer was an alien concept, Muhammed Jah saw a gap that wasn't just a business opening, but a national emergency.
I wanted to start something on my own because I saw an opportunity. I saw an opportunity because I had a friend of mine who came for lunch, and he was rushing to go to the airport to pick a consultant coming from Europe to teach that particular government department how to use Word and Excel spreadsheet. So at night, I woke up around 2 o'clock at night. I was just thinking, why should our government take so much of money from taxpayers and just pay for somebody to come from Europe, host him in a top hotel in the Gambia to teach people how to type? And I had a computer, a 286 machine in my room. So I said, I want to save my country, that hassle. And that is what took me into starting a company. And that is how engineers are trained. Engineers are not theoretical people. They are practical people. They are solution providers. And I tell my engineers, I say, if we have a problem, we should cut the talking and we should look for solution. A good engineer is an engineer who, when you give him a problem, he will tell you, even without thinking, that there's a solution for this problem, and we can do it. So that is what I have been doing all my life. I look at the problems within my area. I am more focused on engineering and digitization. What can I do to make the lives of Gambians easier and simpler by creating innovative solutions to their problems? So you can say we are problem solvers. We look for a problem and then go for the solution.
His solution was QuantumNet, established in 1998, and it came with a slogan that announced intent: setting standards. Its first product was not a device or a service, it was access. The idea that a computer was a tool for everyone, regardless of education, income, or background. This wasn't really a business, it was a crusade.
Computer was new to everybody. It was an alien machine. Like, people who had computers were seen to be like elitists or people who had a lot of money. And I knew at that time that this was eventually going to be a tool for everybody. So where am I going to start from? Not by selling computers or repairing computers. No. I want everyone, whether you are literate or non-literate, to be able to use that device, because you will have a use for it. So that is why we started from the academic side. We set up, the computer training center where we train Gambians and non-Gambians residing in Gambia in all facets of computing, but not just teaching you. We were very, very aware or cognizant that what we want is whatever you learn, you'll be able to use it practically in your life, whether at home or at the office. So we had no pre-qualification to enter those classes. We said anybody who wants to know computing, whether it's spreadsheet, whether it's Word, whether it's operating system, whatever you want to know, if you come to us, we will make sure that we will teach you and you will know how to use the computer to make your life easier in your workplace or at home. We did not create QuantumNet for money. In fact, a lot of people who came through QuantumNet, or we went to them, we were going to offices, we were doing it free of charge. A lot of people, we were not charging. It's after some few months and years when we realized that we have bills to pay, we have rents to pay, we have stationery to buy, that we started putting charges to our services. But really our mission was to make sure that people are digitized.
The internet arrived in Africa and, as with every wave of technology, someone had to be the first. The United Nations put $1 million on the table for the first African country to let private sector lead.
And I remembered one day I got a call from the Minister of Works and Communication. That time we had no Minister of Digital Economy. And they told me that the UNDP is having an Internet Initiative project in Africa. And any country which is allowing the private sector to lead the digital revolution will be giving $1 million to set up an internet gateway. So they knew I was into IT. I'm sure they contacted also other companies. But you needed some resources to say, yes, I am going to be investing in this sector. And the moment the minister called me at the time, I did not hesitate. I said, so what you are telling me is, if I am ready to set up an internet service provision, ISP, Gambia will get $1 million, not coming to Muhammed Jah or QuantumNet, but coming to the government to set up an internet gateway. Is that the prerequisite? He said, yes. I said, we are in.
They flew to Nigeria. They made their case. What followed would change the nation's digital future forever.
We went to Nigeria with another, because UNDP was giving it to 10 African countries. And we went to Nigeria with the Minister of Works and Communication. We met other ministers from other African countries. But what we put on the table, a private sector-led revolution in the internet revolution, made Gambia the first to be giving this $1 million in Africa.
From that trailblazing beginning, QuantumNet helped ignite a technological awakening, and with it, an expanding entrepreneurial vision shaped by evolving needs of the people it served.
Our clients all over the country demanded other services. Or you are selling us, you are providing us internet, you are providing us training, but we also need other products and services. So we need a printer, we need computers, we need UPSs, and that's how we went into having superstores. We are now today the distributor of a number of international products like Samsung, where you have products, air conditioners, TV, all sorts of digital products you can buy on the Samsung brand. We are also the distributors of Dell computers, APC, UPS, and a lot of products. From there, again, our customer base or the Gambians demanded because we were giving them great service. We want also vehicles. So all my businesses, all the businesses, you see them, and they come one after the other.
Every expansion followed the same formula: identify a need, build a solution, grow slowly, then move to the next challenge. Proudly Gambian and built with the needs of Gambians in mind, the QGroup has grown into one of the country's most dynamic and diversified business groups, from telecommunications and banking to media, logistics, education, and more.
We went into telecommunication in 2009. It's not about the product. There were 3 companies in the country, but we wanted to set up a telecommunication company which will be identified by Gambians, a fully Gambian-owned telecommunication company.
When QCell entered the market, the odds were clear and not in their favor. To get QCell's network up and running as quickly as possible, Muhammed took an extraordinary step. He chartered a Boeing 747 airplane to fly in the equipment needed for the rollout.
Years after the first 2 operators, 10 years, and 5 years after the 3rd operator, we were the 4th, the last operator to come to the game. We saw big gaps. Data was almost negligible, less than 10%, because all the operators were using 2G. 2G was basically a voice platform, although there was a little bit of data called edge, but really you can hardly even send a picture through it. So you can basically say that the data accessibility was coverage was almost zero. Again, coverage was very, very low. Lot of villages, lot of towns did not have access a mobile voice. So we saw a gap, and as a company which believes that we owe it to the country, we thought that from the internet service provision, we should now leap to the mobile service, because people saw also the internet product as a premium.
For QCell, the challenge wasn't competition, it was access.
So we only had like few hundreds of subscribers. But you want to impact 2.5 million people in Gambia. And the only product which can give you that in telecommunication is mobile.
But belief alone doesn't build networks.
So we had no choice. A lot of people also again came to us and told us this is not a small boy product. This is not an indigenous product. We had all those things that only foreign players can go into this. You don't have any experience. This is far different from an internet service provision. It's capital intensive. They gave us all the reasons which will make anybody not to invest in this venture.
In 2008, QCell secured its license, and what followed was a sequence of firsts that will position the smallest country on mainland Africa at the frontier of mobile technology.
Within 6 months of getting the license, we were able to do our first call. It was not just a call we made. We brought in the first 3G network in Gambia, second to South Africa at the time, where that time there was no WhatsApp, there was no video call. When you tell people that You have a technology which you can call somebody and see him, they tell you, no, it's not true.
Then came acceleration.
We brought in 3G. We were the first. And of course, technology keep on evolving. Again, we were the first to bring in 4G technology to the country. The President of the Republic, Excellency Adama Barrow, launched the first 5G network in the country.
From last entrant to technological leader.
Small Gambia, but big vision, big mind. We believe that technology is not about big and small countries. No, it's about an ambition. I'm happy to say that QCell has the biggest network in Gambia. We are in every corner of this country, the smallest villages.
A network built not just for cities, but for people.
And we came 10 years after the first two, but we tasked ourselves that we want every Gambian to be able to access our service. Today, where every cell site you see all over the country has a 2G, you can access 2G, you can access 3G, and we have a countrywide 4G. And of course, we have 5G as well.
And that ambition didn't stop at the borders. QGroup today spans telecommunications, IT, automotive, banking, broadcasting, and international logistics, with offices in the Gambia, Sierra Leone, and London. Each expansion followed the same logic: find the gap, solve the problem.
Demand from the public. I always tell entrepreneurs, you can have the greatest ideas in the world, you can have the greatest products in the world, but if the society you are in don't need these products and services, however great they are, you will never have a sale.
When Ajib Bank, the first Islamic bank in West Africa, was on the verge of collapse, Jah stepped in.
Today, the group, we've gone into also banking. You've seen that area as well. It's totally not technology. But we know we need money, we need finance. Not only us, but entrepreneurs need it. And everybody cries about the high cost of finance. So, the Arab Gambia Islamic Bank was on the brink of collapse, the only Islamic bank in the country. And in fact, what people don't know is Ajib Bank was the first Islamic bank in West Africa. So when we were called that the bank is in the verge of collapsing, central bank might close it. As Muslims, and we come from a very strong Muslim family, we thought that it's going to be a shame to all Muslims in the Gambia, but not that in West Africa to close the first Islamic bank. So we were able to intervene, recapitalize the bank. And again, I'm happy to say the President of the Republic again inaugurated the state-of-the-art Ajib Bank headquarters on Kairaba Avenue. And today, if you look at the banking records in the country, Ajib is the fourth bank out of the 12 banks in the country. That's really a Gambian pride. Ajib is 100% Gambian. All the managers, from the managing director to everybody working in Ajib, I can happily say that Ajib is managed, operated, and serviced by Gambians.
A revival built on local ownership. Today, Muhammed Jah's gaze is fixed on the next frontier: artificial intelligence, data sovereignty, and a world being reshaped by technology faster than most nations can respond.
We don't want to be left behind. Today, all the technologies you have in the world, we started with 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. It's all in Gambia. And we All of them, QGroup pioneered them. Then others follow. Remember, we have a slogan. We innovate and others follow. We believe in that. So we push other companies to follow the trend so that our country goes to another level. So we were in China and we saw where technology was going. Of course, evolution of AI is going to take over. We have to be ready for that. Data security is key. Sovereignty is key, to our existence. The fights in the world now is not by weapons, it's by technology. You see, even the recent fights you see in Ukraine, in Iran, drones. Technology is the tools for war today. And we are within the world, we are a country. We have to be ready for that. We have to build our people to have the capacity, to be able to face these new challenges in the world. So I'm happy again that we are leading the way. We are launching the first data center in the Gambia. We have just ordered our first new sets of electric vehicles will be arriving soon. But that's the future. People are not even talking about electric vehicles now. They are talking about, auto-driven vehicles now. When you go to Europe, you go to China, you go everywhere, you can hire a taxi with no driver. So I'm saying that we have a long way to go, but if we give capacity, if we train our people through our institutions, whether it's the school system, the universities, private or public, give them training which will give them capacity to be at par with the rest of the world. That's what we are looking for. We want our young ones to be trained at the same level with others around the world so that we can compete.
For all the scale of QGroup's ambitions, those who know Muhammed Jah best describe him in the same 3 words: humble, generous, grounded. He has a simple explanation.
I once had a lecture with the University of the Gambia students, one of the departments who were graduating, and they asked me the same question. And I told them that you need 3 things to have this grounding. One is you need to be religious. The second one is knowledge. You have to continuously seek knowledge. I have never studied accounting in my life. I have never studied business, but I'm the chairman of one of the biggest banks in the country, Ajib Bank. And it's doing very well. Why? Because I learn. I keep on learning. So knowledge is something which you have to be seeking all the time. But the third thing is upbringing. I remembered when I first told my dad that I want to start my business and I wanted an advice from him. He told me that the only advice I give you, he asked a question first. He said, do you want to be named after the best businessman or the first or second businessman in the country? I said, yes. He said, be a good Muslim in your business. But my father was a teacher. So he told me, tomorrow after Fajr, after prayers, tell me what that means. What he was basically telling me at the time was, you have to be ethical in whatever dealings you are doing with the public. And for me, I think that's the value. That's the value we're seeing today.
And behind the empire, there is a family. QGroup Foundation, led by his wife Muhammed Jah, distributes scholarships, responds to disasters, and has launched Set Al Sunureo, a national cleanliness campaign. Service, Jah says, was what he inherited.
I was born from a family which wealth or money was secondary. My fathers, Muhammed Jah and Professor Dr. Omar Jah, anybody who knows them, you would know that they were not wealthy people. They were not seen as wealthy, but they impacted society. Every penny they have goes back to society. That is what we are trying to emulate. And I think we are far from whatever they were doing. I still feel that what we do is very little.
And what would he say to young Gambians setting out today? Muhammed Jah doesn't talk about money. He talks about knowledge, patience, and purpose.
When I look around, I see thousands of kids, young Gambians who can do far more than what I'm doing. The difference probably I have, or we have with them, is a discipline. I started from my bedroom in my house with one computer. What you need is to explore opportunities. You should look at your potential. What can you do best? What can you do best? And explore that and make it big. Even if it's cleaning, there are cleaning companies in the world which are, their turnovers are in hundreds of millions of dollars. Let the young people out there be patient. As they say, Rome is not built in a day. This journey took us over 30 years. Make sure that whatever business you're doing is something you like, but above all, is something which will impact society. You will change some people's life in that.
He built a company and then an empire. He connected a country, then a region. He started in a bedroom and ends up in the history books. But ask Muhammed Jah what his greatest achievement is, and he would tell you, it isn't any of that.
Every day I wake up and I'm healthy, I say Alhamdulillah, because that is my biggest wealth. It's not the money I have in the account. It's not QGroup. It's the fact that God has given me the opportunity to get up from my bed and I'm healthy and I'm able to help other people.
Muhammed Jah's story is a reminder that greatness can emerge from the most unlikely places when vision meets determination. From the Gambia to the world, his journey inspires a new generation to dream bigger, aim higher, and believe that no dream is beyond reach.